my name is Luis Alejandro Lopez, and I'm a real estate investor, acquisition manager, and I specialize in home flipping. I'm also a real estate investment coach here with Real Life Trading. I wanted to bring you a little discussion about a very hot topic. What is rental arbitrage and how does it apply to short-term vacation rentals? Short-term rental arbitrage is a type of hospitality business that leverages someone else's property. This is where there's an operator, also known as the host, that signs a long-term lease with a landlord and he becomes a tenant. Then in turn, this operator rents those properties on the short-term rental platforms like Airbnb that we all know of, Verbo, Vacation Rentals, Vacasa.com, and there's a few more. So it works similarly to buying a product in bulk. Let's say in this case is the use of an empty home for 365 days. And then you sell a new product at a higher price. This new product is the result of the original one you got plus your added value. So you take that home, you add nice furniture, you get amenities, you get local recommendations, and you ideally make it a great experience for your guests. Then each night is sold individually on the short-term market platforms. Again, Airbnb, VRBO, etc., etc., etc. So you're gonna get from an empty home that was for rent, you're gonna be selling nightly stays in a fully furnished, equipped mountain bungalow, for example. Okay, so let's discuss the pros and cons. Also have a lot of benefits using short-term rental business using the arbitrage model. Okay, let's go through them. First, you have a smaller initial investment. In order to secure a property, you will need, or the host will need to sign a long-term lease with a landlord. The cost to secure a property as a lease is usually your first month rent, your security deposit, and a couple of other expenses. Okay, so this amount is usually way lower than putting a down payment on a home. Second, you got a quicker setup. The process of renting a home is usually faster than a purchase. It's a quick transaction between two parties, landlord and tenant. There's no loans, there's no inspections, there's no appraisals, there's no closing date, there's no delays. Okay, so there's only two people involved, and host can take possession and set up a home immediately. As soon as you sign your lease, you arrange with your landlord, when is your moving date. Usually landlords with empty homes want moving date as quick as possible. Okay, so you can take up the home and set it up in a short period of time. Third, there's little risk and there's little maintenance. Since the operator is a tenant legally, they're not responsible for any major repairs. Let's say roof leaks, appliances break, you got major water leaks, major electric issues. Additionally, if the property does not perform to expectations, they can always break a lease. There's usually some penalties and they usually paid as liquidated damages. Okay, now another quick thing is before starting an operation, the host needs to be aware of the local rules and ordinance, regulations, taxes, etc. on their community. However, if these regulations change over time, making it impossible to make a profit in short-term rental, you can shut down the business immediately. You just shut down the lease, pay your liquidated damages to your landlord, and you're out of the property. You don't need to go in turn and sell a home in order to get out of it. Now, it's easier to get more units. Since the host is laying less money up front, your capital will serve you to make more properties and more listings. Your starting capital for each one will be less, so you can, make one, make it work, save up, put the money for the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. So you can scale the business way faster. You got also less bookkeeping. Okay, there's only one or few monthly payments, which is the rent that you need to take. In the other case, the landlord needs to pay the taxes, association fees, maintenance, landscaping, property taxes, and a whole bunch of things. So in a sense, the bookkeeping, it's way easier. Now this sounds amazing, right? But there's another cons with it, okay? Like in every business, there are pros and there's also downsides. So let's see what the downsides might be. First, your rent is always expected the first of the month. Whether there are any bookings and you have guests or don't have guests, or you will need to pay the rent. Now, granted, this is the same situation for mortgage payments, but usually mortgage payments tend to be a lower amount than the rent payments. Remember, In a comparable home, the more you use to put a down payment, usually the lower your mortgage is. But since we went into a home with a very, very small money up front, usually the rents are going to be higher. So whether you have guests or not, whether you have income or not, you will have to pay your rent. Also remember, in case if there's a rent that is unpaid, there's always additional fees. You eventually will get an eviction and you might get a lawsuit. Damages to the property. That's another con. Since the operator is a legal tenant, the operator or the host is responsible for any of the damages produced by a guest to the property. Whether they were intentional or not, the landlord does not care. The landlord wants the property repaired, okay? Now, sometimes the booking platform or the business insurance will help you cover the cost, but meanwhile, you have to take that cost up front, make the repair, and see if the insurance will cover, or you can charge back the guest. So you're on the hook no matter what happens for a while, okay? A good recommendation is to get yourself, if you're gonna start doing this business, get yourself a good umbrella insurance, short-term rentals insurance. They're on the market. Look for them, and you cover your liability, and that will cover the home. Another con is tax deductions. Here's where things get interesting for homeowners where they're doing short-term rentals. There are several tax deductions that homeowners can apply at the time of filing taxes when they're renting a home. Talk to your accountant first, but the most common ones are deductions on your mortgage interest and the asset depreciation. Usually when you get a tenant, the property depreciates over time because it's being used. Okay, again, talk to an accountant, but that's kind of the way it works. Now, in both cases, the operator have to pay taxes on their profit, but the homeowner can offset some of that profit on the depreciation of their home. Talk to your accountant. It really works. Another con on arbitrage is equity building. Okay, real estate home ownership has been the building block of wealth creation since the beginning of times, right? Every time there's a mortgage payment, a little portion of that mortgage payment goes to the principal. Every time you add money to the principal, you're growing your investment, okay? So that, sum up with the real estate appreciation, you've seen the bubble and everything that we've gone through this past couple of years, okay? The home values went up astronomically. If the operator or the homeowner wants to sell the home, they will take the profits made by the business of the short-term rental plus the appreciation of the home. They will come ahead than an arbitrage operator. Okay, the arbitrage operator will only take the profits of the short-term rental itself. Another con is complicated lease agreements. In order to do arbitrage, there are more details on the contract than in the standard regular lease that is commonly used. This will take time or money to set up, and most times you will need an attorney and a lawyer to write them for you. Okay. Additionally, some landlords don't want to get into complicated leases or complicated stuff that it's out of the box. So they might just say no, turn you down, and go rent to somebody else as a regular tenant. And you have higher risk and less stability. This is a part of the short-term rental business that is out of the operator's control. If the landlord for some reason decides not to renew the lease, the short-term rental business goes with it. Home is shut down, furniture has to be moved, and then you have to start looking for a new listing from scratch. So there you have it. Rental arbitrage was great if you want a quick startup, you want immediate cash flow, and you want to grow your business quick. Rental investment, meaning by owning the home where you're going to do the short-term rentals, while it might not be as quick, works great for a steady wealth building. So which one is right for you? Please leave your comments below. And as always, thank you for joining me. Hoping I have reached your life with this video. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel. We are always live last Fridays of each month at 2 p.m. on the Real Life Trading All Access Pass. And as always, if you have any questions, would like to invest with us, want to say hi, you can reach us at realestate@reallifetrading.com. Also, you can follow the link below, reallifetrading.com/RE. You will have all our videos. We can have mentorship opportunities for you, and just get in touch. See you next time.